Comcast cable television license expires on December 31st, 2022. Federal and state law require the holding of public ascertainment proceedings, which includes this hearing, to identify public and city cable-related needs. Consistent with the governor's executive order on the holding of virtual or remote access meetings, this is a virtual hearing accessible through the Zoom video platform and through telephone to enable audio participation. Notice of this hearing was published in the Malden Advocate on September 11th and on September 18th, 2020, and the notices provided links and telephone numbers for attending this virtual hearing through the Zoom video platform or through audio access by telephone. Copies of the legal advertisements are being entered into the record as hearing exhibits. Persons who wish to speak should click on the raise hand option in Zoom. For those calling in via phone, please select *9 to indicate your desire to provide testimony. Please note that I will do my best to take testimony in order of request. Should you wish to supplement your oral testimony and to provide any written comments on matters of concern or comments concerning the renewal process, you can forward them to the Office of the Mayor at Malden City Hall, 215 Pleasant Street. We also note for the record, the process of ascertainment of community cable needs and interests will remain open until further notice, and the city welcomes public input as the process continues. Before accepting comments from the public, I would like to briefly acknowledge and welcome Angela Holm, a representative of Comcast, and Comcast representative is welcome to speak and comment on Comcast operations, the renewal process, or any related matter. So again, welcome to this public hearing to further address the important subject of the cable-related needs and interests of the city of Malden. We are ready to proceed and accept comments from the public and interested persons. Please state your name and address before testifying, and we would appreciate it if speakers can keep their comments to no longer than 4 minutes. With that, let the hearing begin.
Okay,
First up, Mr. Cochran, Karen Cologne Hayes.
Yep, I'll go ahead and unmute Karen's mic. One moment. And once again, for all those participating, please announce your full name and your home address for the record.
Hi.
Good evening.
Okay. Good evening. My name is Karen Cologne Hayes. I live at 105 Wyoming Avenue in Malden. I'm here to express my strong support for the continuation and hopefully increase of funding for UMA or MATV. I have utilized the services and resources of UMA to host many events and projects. At the Senior Center alone, we have partnered to host Malden Reads, the North Shore Hispanic Association events, Diwali festivals, Malden Corps' Juneteenth event, as well as presenting short film events in our auditorium. UMA has also partnered with us, providing training to our seniors on how to use video equipment and have troubleshooted problems for our seniors programming. Meets the needs of our community on so many levels. I couldn't imagine what it would be like without their services. During this pandemic alone, it is more important that we have a way to reach our seniors on one of the 3 channels with important city and Board of Health announcements in a way that is comfortable and familiar with our seniors. For these reasons and more, I hope UMA is granted the funding they need to continue their work in our community. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, Mr. Cochran.
Okay, at this moment, I am not seeing any hands raised. One quick thing, Ron Cox should now be on the panelist side of things. I just want to confirm that. I believe I did see him successfully be promoted to panelist. So that.
Okay.
Yep.
I don't see any other hands. Do you, Mr. Cochran?
I do not, and I'm also checking just in case the Q&A if people accidentally went there by mistake. And I do not see anyone raising hand or indicating that they would like to speak on either side.
Okay, so Mr. Hogan, where do we go from here?
So I guess, one of the things that's worth mentioning is that and this is something Mr. Cox and I did have a conversation about, we are certainly open to and willing to do another one of these. I think that obviously the world that we're living in now makes this dynamic different, and whether or not that's what we should attribute the lack of participation to or something else, I guess we'll find out. But certainly if everybody is open to it, we're happy to do another one if that gives folks another opportunity. We did, as you mentioned, Mayor, this was in the paper, it was on the city's website. I think it was sort of advertised in the same ways that we normally advertise these things. So I guess I'll have to believe that this is just a function of the world that we're living in right now, because as you know, in past, we've had, many more folks attend when we have these in person. But I think my suggestion at this point, if nobody else has joined and has other questions, is we would just plan on, we did have a deadline to get the first one done by a certain date, but it does leave the door open for more. And I think we would just probably plan on that happening at some point in time in the future to see if we can get additional feedback and ascertainment.
Okay.
I just want to jump in. I just want to jump in real quick. Ron Cox is now raising his hand as a panelist, so I believe he wants to speak.
Okay, Mr. Cox?
No, it's Josephine.
Okay,
Hello?
so, yep, I believe what's happening is that Ron probably gave that same link to Josephine as well. So there were two people identified as Ron Cox in the meeting. So I'm going to have to go promote that other person, that other entity to panelists. So hang on one second, please. Okay, so that other account identified as Ron Cox is now also promoted to panelists. So you're just going to need to unmute.
Okay.
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Hi, my name is Josephine Royal, and I do work at UMA, and I also, pardon me?
Can you just state your address for the record?
Yes, 280 Salem Street, apartment 808, Malden, Massachusetts.
Thank you.
And I think it's very important for UMA to exist. And I have worked with the elderly at the senior center. And during COVID-19, I did a lot of podcasts, and one in particular with Barbara Tostrom. I was used as a conduit for her to do her podcast through me. And I think it's very important at this time to continue to do things like that. I did that, a lot of podcasts in the community with different people, and you were on my show too, Mayor Gary Christensen. I'd like to continue to do that and reach out to the community in different manners. I love doing podcasts, and I also do shows as well, and continue to reach out in the community and work with the elderly as much as I can. The young at heart, I'd like to call them. And it's so important at this time because a lot of shut-ins there, and I'd like to touch them as much as I can in many ways.
Okay. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mute that account, which again was identified incorrectly as Ron Cox. So that's Josephine. So I think that's important to note for the stenographer because that was if you were looking at it, that account was indicated as Ron Cox and it was not.
Thank you.
Okay. All right. So again, Ron, this is just the beginning. Bill, do you have something you want to add?
Yes, just to reply further, Mayor Christensen, to your question about what is to follow. In addition to what Ron Hogan said about possible subsequent holding of a public ascertainment proceeding, when there's more time to publicize it. We did this to meet a 6-month deadline for having an ascertainment hearing on relatively short time frame. But further to your question, and for the benefit of the public, the record is also open for written comments and letters. And in that regard, I should note that I did receive a phone call from a representative of your nonprofit local community television studio, the MATV, UMA, who specifically wanted to let me know that they are preparing some extensive data which will serve the objective of the ascertainment of needs. The intent is to provide a written report. For example, so in addition to the hearing, there will be a written report, a needs assessment report. This is all, I don't have personal knowledge of it. I was just told this by a representative of MATV. They intend to have, for example, to assist the city, itemized, detailed information on the renewal needs in terms of the PEG access equipment and facilities and their operating budget, which I think they mentioned, and this has been a very active local studio. It's kind of highly known throughout the state. It's been so active and it's been growing steadily. And they were mentioning that as indicative of a need for at least continued support.
All right, very
So
good.
there's some written material coming, to be more succinct. Sorry for being long-winded.
That's okay. Send that right to Miss Home, okay? All right, very good. So I think we're good for now.
There's a hand up there. Okay. Yeah.
I think the light's going off for the indication that we're good for now.
Ron Cox is raising his hand though.
Yeah.
All right, Ron, it's not showing up in the chat. I don't know if you pressed the button, but.
No, again, what's happening is that Ron Cox is logged in, at least with his name twice. He's indicated that he wanted to speak in the Q&A section. I'm trying to inform him that all he has to do is unmute and go ahead and
I'm unmuted. Can you hear me now?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I think there's a lot of bugs to work out, obviously. I'm hearing from people who are trying to get on. They don't seem to be getting on, so I just want to announce that. But second of all, I want to thank the city for this opportunity to, this is like the beginning of the ascertainment process, and we appreciate this and look forward to a chance for the community to share their support and the way they've used the resources of MATV, soon to be UMA, and how we meet the communication needs of the citizens. So these public hearings are a great way for getting that feedback, and we appreciate it, to hear from our neighbors. And we're talking about how we can build on the resources we have and obviously grow into the future we design. So we're looking forward to this. The community's input's vital, and I think Bill just mentioned it. And as we can see, I think Ron mentioned that the idea that we're probably going to need some more of these just to work out the bugs in this time of the pandemic. So I do appreciate the beginning of the process and look forward to hearing from so many more people from the community.
All right, very good. Thank you. All right. So again, Mr. Hogan, first of many, and we'll look for the written testimony that comes in after the hearing, and we'll go from there. Correct?
Oh,
Yeah, that's correct. And the only other thing I'd add, Mayor, and I guess Mr. Cox directed at you. I know you certainly have many passionate members that I think some of us expected to be on, and the Zoom technology is a reality of what we're having to deal with. So anything you can do between now and if we have another one of these to assist them, because there's only so much that we can do once it's started. But if you can engage some of your members that for next time, I think it would help, get a little bit more feedback. Okay.
All right, very good. All right, with that then, we'll end tonight's public hearing. We'll look for written testimony or calls that want to offer oral testimony, and we'll go from there. All right. So if there are no other questions, we'll adjourn this hearing. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you till next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.